Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. NBA training camp tracker Kevin Durant expects to play a small ball center at times. Get ready for Kevin Durant small ball center. The Brooklyn Nets are one of the biggest unknowns in the landscape of the NBA contenders, and get ready for things to get a little weird at times under head coach Steve Nash. Nets star Kevin Durant Kevin Durant um, told ESPN on Wednesday that he is expecting to see some time at center and power forward in small ball lineups. I think coach is going to use me in a variety of ways, especially as a small ball 5 and 4. Sometimes Durant said, and bringing the ball up too. So I've just got to be ready for anything. Durant's effectiveness in small ball lineups is well established. The Golden State Warriors incinerated the league with their Hamptons 5 lineup, in which Durant played alongside Steph, Clay, Dre, and Andre. The Nets could very well create a similar lineup with Durant and, say, Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, and Spencer Dinwiddie. New acquisition Jeff Green also saw plenty of time as a small ball center with the Houston Rockets. Durant's length as a nominal small forward gives the Nets the ability to do a lot of fun stuff on offense. Though the question will be if Durant is ready to guard the paint while taking the floor with only guards and wings. Carmelo Anthony is okay in coming off the bench with the Blazers. Carmelo Anthony will make it work if he has to come off the bench for the Portland Trail Blazers during the 2020-21 NBA season. Anthony gave a refreshingly honest quote about the situation Friday, explaining he had to talk himself into the idea. A very honest Carmelo Anthony on committing to a bench role with the Blazers this season. Anthony knows Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum aren't going to come off the bench, leaving Anthony third on the guard depth chart. While Anthony said he would make it happen in that scenario, he admitted it was tough to come to that decision. Anthony said it was hard to think about coming off the bench and that it weighed on his pride and ego. Ultimately, it sounds as though Anthony is willing to make the best of the situation. That's a pretty big change from where Anthony stood on that subject a few years back. In 2017, Anthony was vehemently against the idea of coming off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He mostly played a bench role with the Houston Rockets before the team parted ways with Anthony after just 10 games during the 2018 and 19 NBA season. After months away from the NBA, Anthony signed with Portland last season where he started 58 games with the team. Paul George says he wants to retire as a member of the Clippers. Paul George has only spent one season with the Los Angeles Clippers, but he's committed to the team for life. George said Friday he wants to retire as a member of the Clippers organization. George made those comments as he entered a potential walk year. While George has 2 years left on his contract, he can opt out of his final year following the 2020-21 NBA season. Though George is set to make $37 million in the final year of his deal, he'll likely opt out to receive a multi-year mega deal worth much more than that. While that's encouraging, Clipper fans shouldn't read too much into those comments. It's not like George is going to talk about leaving the Clippers while he still has a year to go with the team. It's also in George's best interest to try and get the best contract possible, and maybe his comments were a negotiation ploy to get the Clippers moving on an extension. In his first season with the Clippers, George averaged 22 points and 6 rebounds. Paul, however, received criticism for his performance in the playoffs where he shot 40% from the field, including 33% from three-point range. NBA to suspend testing players for marijuana in 2020 and 21. The NBA will not randomly test players for marijuana this season. The league does not randomly test players for marijuana during the offseason and previously suspended testing in the bubble at Walt Disney World in Orlando. Prior to the restart, a first-time positive test for marijuana entered a player into the league's drug program. A second positive test resulting in $25,000 fine and a third warranted a 5-game suspension, with 5 more games added to each ensuing positive test. Due to unusual circumstances in conjunction with the pandemic, we have agreed with the National Basketball Players Association to suspend random testing for marijuana for the 2020-21 season and focus our random testing program on performance-enhanced products and drugs of abuse. NBA spokesperson Mike Bass said in a statement to Stein, in recent years, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has been open to discussing changes to the league's policy on marijuana and seeking further information on its impact on mental wellness, positive and negative. NBA to set new trade and waiver deadline dates. The NBA plans, the NBA plans to schedule the 2021 trade deadline for March 25th per the Athletic Shams Charania. The league's 72-game condensed schedule will run from December 22nd through May 16th, shifting the deadline back more than a month in recent seasons. The NBA has coincided the trade deadline with the All-Star break. There is a break from March 5th to 10th this season, but the league will not host an All-Star game, according to Charania. April 9th will be the deadline for players to be waived and signed to a roster in time to be eligible for the playoffs. The NBA is holding a play-in tournament for the final 2 playoff seeds in each conference from May 18th to 21st, followed by the start of the first round of the postseason on May 22nd. Nets Caris LeVert, NBA wasn't the same without Kevin Durant. Brooklyn Nets guard Caris LeVert gave reporters a progress report on teammate Kevin Durant on Thursday, saying the forward looked as advertised while working out together in Los Angeles. Kevin is right back where he was, and I think everybody will see that. The game honestly wasn't the same without him. It was good to see Kevin come back from a tough injury like that, LeVert said. I think that Kevin is right back where he was, and I think everybody will see that. I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for everybody to get him back, because the game honestly wasn't the same without him. I know he's super excited to get back to playing. Anthony Davis finalizing 5-year deal with the Lakers. As expected, All-Star forward Anthony Davis is finalizing a new 5-year, $190 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. During his first season with the Lakers, Davis averaged 26 points and 9 rebounds while helping lead the Lakers to their first championship since 2010. Nearly 9% of NBA players tested returned positive COVID-19 results. With the new NBA season weeks away, the league announced on Wednesday that 8.8% of players in a recent round of league-wide testing returned positive results for COVID-19. In a joint statement with the NBA PA, the league announced that 48 out of 546 players tested from November 24th to 30th were infected with the coronavirus. It marked the first set of widespread testing in the league since the conclusion of the 2019-20 season. For more on the first round of coronavirus testing of the 2020-21 NBA season, Rockets trading Russell Westbrook to Wizards for John Wall and draft pick. Westbrook got his wish. The Houston Rockets reached a deal to send Westbrook to the Washington Wizards on Wednesday night in exchange for John Wall and a future first-round draft pick, the team announced. The Houston Rockets have acquired John Wall and the future first-round pick from Washington in exchange for Russell Westbrook. Daniel House Jr. apologized after COVID-19 bubble mishap. Houston Rockets forward Daniel House Jr. had a well unusual and abrupt end to the 19-20 season. House left the NBA bubble at Walt Disney World early last season after the league determined he spent multiple hours with an unauthorized guest in his hotel room, a clear violation of the league's COVID-19 policy. On Wednesday, when House met with the media for the first time since the incident, the 27-year-old quickly apologized. Paul George slams his role, Clippers chemistry under Doc Rivers. Reports about preparation issues and preferential treatment for Kawhi Leonard under Coach Doc Rivers dogged the Los Angeles Clippers prior to Rivers' exit, but the complaints were relegated to reports and rumors, with players largely declining to publicly put their name on the problems. On Wednesday, Paul George did put a name to it, his and Rivers, in a candid takedown of Clippers' problem last season on the All the Smoke podcast. George, who joined Leonard as a first-year Clipper in the season's roster overhaul that set up championship expectations, was not happy with his role in Rivers' offense. LiAngelo Ball to sign exhibition 10 deal with Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons are signing LiAngelo Ball, the middle brother of New Orleans Pelicans point guard Lonzo Ball, and Charlotte Hornets rookie LaMelo Ball to a one-year non-guaranteed contract, according to the Athletic Shams Charania. The contract is an exhibition 10 deal that can be terminated at any point. An exhibition 10 contract, a training camp invitation that guarantees the signee between $5,000 and $50,000. LiAngelo Ball's deal can also be sent to the G League or converted to a two-way contract. Ball was a practice player for the Oklahoma City Thunder's G League affiliate last season. He signed a deal with the OKC Blue in March, but never appeared in the game as the coronavirus pandemic hit shortly after. Upon leaving UCLA during the suspension levied before he ever played a collegiate game, Ball played professionally for Priena in the Lithuania Basketball League. The 22-year-old averaged 13 points and 3 rebounds in 22 minutes over 14 games before suffering from an injury. LeBron James agrees to extension with Lakers. LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers have reached an agreement on a 2-year, $85 million contract extension that runs through 2022-23 season. His agent Rich Paul of Clutch Sports told Yahoo Sports. The 60-time All-Star led the Lakers to the championship in October, capturing Finals MVP honors. NBA opening night, Kevin Durant versus Warriors and Lakers and Clippers. The NBA is scheduled a blockbuster opening night slate for the 2020-21 season. When the league tips on December 22nd, the Brooklyn Nets will host the Golden State Warriors before the Los Angeles Lakers and Clippers do battle. Both games will be broadcast on TNT and are obviously subject to unforeseen changes caused by the coronavirus pandemic. The schedule makers pitted Durant against Curry, Draymond, and Golden State for the first time since Durant left the organization in 2019 free agency. Durant missed all of last season with the Achilles injury he suffered as a member of the Warriors in Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals. Clippers waived Joakim Noah as he retiring. The Los Angeles Clippers waived center Joakim Noah per ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Noah signed with the Clippers for last season's NBA bubble and made 7 appearances in the regular season and playoffs. His agent Bill Duffy told Wojnarowski that Noah is likely headed toward retirement. If so, Noah will retire after 13 seasons that included 2 All-Star bids, 3 All-Defensive honors, and a 2013-14 campaign that earned him first-team All-NBA in Defensive Player of the Year honors as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Noah has averaged 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.3 blocks in 28 minutes per game for his career. He won back-to-back NCAA championships at University of Florida. The Clippers also re-signed veteran guard Reggie Jackson on a 1-year deal, according to Wojnarowski. Jackson, who is 29, averaged 12 points and 4 assists with the Clippers and Detroit Pistons last season. Lakers, Clippers, Bucks highlight reported NBA Christmas Day schedule. With the NBA season slated to tip off just days before Christmas, the league has put together its traditional holiday schedule packed with games throughout Christmas Day. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the 5-game slate will feature many of the league's best teams and biggest stars, from LeBron James to Zion Williamson, while providing early looks at some basketball's most anticipated revamped lineups. So basically, we're going to have the Warriors, we're going to have the Pelicans at Heat, Warriors at Bucks, Nets at Celtics, Mavs at Lakers, and Clippers at Nuggets. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Kevin Durant says he's going hard during drills. Brooklyn Nets forward Kevin Durant should be ready for the 2020-21 season. Durant said Tuesday he's gone as hard as he can during drills as he attempts to return from an Achilles injury. Durant didn't want to say he's been going 100% because no 14-year veteran is going 100% in practice drill. Every drill I've done, I'm going as hard as I could, 100%. Shoot, I've been in the league 14 years. Even if I didn't have an Achilles, I wouldn't be 100%, he said. Durant 32 is attempting to return from a torn Achilles tendon. He suffered the injury during the Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors went on to win the series in 6 games. Durant signed with the Nets following that series, but missed the first year of a 4-year maximum contract with the injury. The former MVP is expected to make his Nets debut at the start of the 2020-21 season. Durant denies recruiting James Harden to Nets. Facing questions for the first time on Tuesday since an ESPN report that he has discussed with James Harden the possibility of playing together on the Nets, Durant denied the report and chastised the media. I don't know where you're making these stories up that me and James talked about any of this at a workout. Durant told reporters on a conference call per the Houston Chronicle's Matt Young. I don't know where that came from. James is a friend of mine, but I let the front office handle all of that stuff. 2 Warriors test positive for COVID-19 delayed training camp. The Golden State Warriors have delayed the start of training camp due to a pair of players testing positive for COVID-19. General Manager Bob Myers told reporters on Tuesday individual workouts were supposed to start on Tuesday but will now kick off on Wednesday. Team practices are scheduled to start on Monday. Myers did not disclose which players tested positive, just as the Washington Wizards did earlier in the day. He also did not discuss their health status. Every player, including camp invites, were all tested. Doc Rivers on a bubble-free season. I'm very concerned. Doc Rivers may be the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers now, but he is still the same Doc. He is still giving honest answers to difficult questions, and Tuesday news conference was no different. With the NBA season starting on December 22nd and COVID-19 cases rising all over the country, ESPN's Cassidy Hubbard asked Rivers what his concerns are about playing the season without the benefit of a bubble. He didn't sugarcoat it. He's worried. I asked Doc Rivers about his concerns starting the season, not in a bubble environment. I'm very concerned if we could pull this off. Just watching football, college, Ohio State missed some games. Pittsburgh and Baltimore can't even play a game. Mo Bamba's still a ways away from returning to Magic. Almost 6 months after Mo Bamba's positive COVID-19 diagnosis, Orlando Magic coach Steve Clifford said at the start of training camp there is still no telling when the third-year center can return to action. Steve Clifford, when asked about Mo Bamba, there's no real timetable for him to be able to come back and fully participate. I think that he'll be able to do some things that are more organizational and everything, but he's a ways away, and there's no timetable on his return. Bamba tested positive for the coronavirus on June 11th. He joined the Magic in the Orlando bubble for the July restart, but his body failed to respond to the Magic's conditioning marks. After Bamba played a total of 10 minutes 47 seconds in the second halves of Orlando's first 2 seeding games, the team ruled the 22-year-old lottery pick out for the season. Bamba then underwent a post-virus evaluation by the team's medical and training staff. The doctors have ruled out anything serious, but it will take some time to clear his system. Magic president of basketball operations Jeff Weltman told reporters in September that it'll probably be measured in months, not weeks. That's really something that is not going to be a long-term issue. He's going to have a complete recovery, but we'll probably have to monitor his workload as we get through that. That's all. Also in September, Bamba declared, "I'll be ready for the start of the 2020-21 campaign." That does not appear to be the case, a startling reminder of how little is known about long-term effects of the coronavirus. The Magic are also without rising defensive standout Jonathan Isaac, the former number 6 overall pick who will miss the entirety of this coming season with the torn left ACL and meniscus he suffered in the bubble. Kristaps Porzingis out until at least January. As NBA training camps launched on Tuesday, Dallas Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle provided more clarity on Kristaps Porzingis' health status following surgery in October to repair a lateral meniscus tear in his right knee, telling reporters that the all-star big man will not be available for games until at least January. His rehab has gone without issue, Carlisle told reporters during his media availability. According to ESPN's Tim McMahon, he's on schedule. If anything, we're having to hold him back right now. He's back to doing light court work, so things are going well. He will not, however, play until at least January. The Mavericks president of basketball operations, Donnie Nelson, previously told reporters last month that the team would not rush Porzingis' rehab suggestions. He's going to return sometime into the season. Porzingis suffered the injury 20 minutes into Game 1 of the Mavericks' first-round playoff series with the Los Angeles Clippers. He returned to play significant minutes in Game 2 and 3 before being ruled out for the remainder of the series. Luka Doncic helped Dallas push the Clippers to 6 games before a first-round exit. Unnamed Wizards players diagnosed with COVID-19. An unnamed Washington Wizards player is tested positive for the coronavirus. Coach Scott Brooks told reporters on Monday it is the NBA's first known positive test since reopening its doors for 2020 and 21. According to the Washington Post, Ava Wallace, the unnamed player is new to the Wizards roster and has yet to join the team in Washington, D.C. The Wizards were also without the recently re-signed Davis Bertans and the start of training camp. The Latvian flamethrower's return has reportedly been delayed by visa issues. John Collins optimistic about securing contract extension. Fourth-year Atlanta Hawks big man John Collins told reporters on Tuesday that he remains optimistic about securing a contract extension that is weighing heavily on his mind before the December 21st deadline. "Every time I come into the gym is definitely the first thing on my mind," Collins said. "Obviously, my agent and the Hawks are working every day to try to get to a deal and an agreement, so I'm trying to stay optimistic, stay positive, and develop bonds with my new teammates, and that's all I can really do." 4 members of the NBA's 2017 draft class, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, and De'Aaron Fox, have signed max contract extensions to their rookie deals, valued between $163 and $196 million through 2026. Depending on the salary cap and their All-NBA status, Collins wants to be 5th. When we're talking max numbers and money, I feel like I definitely am in the conversation to have earned that money with the Hawks specifically, Collins told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's Sarah K. Spencer in May. "But obviously, I know there's business and we don't always get exactly what we want." Collins averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds in 33 minutes over 41 games last season. However, the Hawks' front court has gotten a lot more crowded since February. Atlanta traded for 26-year-old center Clint Capella, drafted big man Onyeka Okongwu, and signed stretch forward Danilo Gallinari in free agency. Miami Heat revealed latest and final Vice jerseys. The Miami Heat and Nike dialed up the pastel with the 4th installment of their Vice City Edition alternate jerseys, revealing an eye-popping version of the popular scheme for the 2020-21 campaign. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. The Heat first revealed the throwback jerseys in 2017 as an homage to the popular 1980s television drama Miami Vice. City Edition jerseys generally change from year to year, but the Heat have continued to put a new spin on their alternates as they have grown in popularity. Starting with the darker Vice Knights theme in 2017, the team has cycled through brighter Sunset Vice and Vice Wave editions over the last 2 years. The latest edition, which the Heat contend will be the last of the line, is called Vice Versa, featuring pink on one side, light blue on the other, and blending into violet in the middle. Vice began as a journey, a trip back through time, a reality where 1988 never ended. Jennifer Alvarez, Miami's vice president of creative and digital marketing, said in a release, each campaign has pushed us further and further outside the creative confines of the Heat brand, and each has been hugely successful and a ton of fun to work on. Vice Versa is a graphic microcosm that envisions the Heat brand of the future. Per ESPN Zach Lowe, the Heat have sold more than 120,000 City Edition jerseys since 2017, generating 5 times more revenue than equivalent sales from the team's 3 championship seasons combined. A number of teams unveiled their alternate jerseys on Tuesday, including the Milwaukee Bucks and the Clippers. Celtics star Kemba Walker sidelined until January. The Boston Celtics have shelved Kemba Walker until at least the start of January as the all-star point guard continues to recover from a lingering left knee injury. The team announced on Monday morning, on the advice of multiple specialists, Walker received a stem cell injection in October. He began a 12-week strengthening program that has him scheduled to return to on-court action early this month. Walker's game availability will be reevaluated the first week of January when the Celtics plan to provide another update. We are just being very cautious with Kemba. Celtics president of basketball operations Danny Ainge told radio station 98.5, the Sports Hub Toucher and Rich Show. On Monday, Ainge added in the interview, we are maintaining a strengthening program, which he has been very, very diligent in so far, and we're encouraged that he will be able to return at full speed, but we do not want to rush the program. So, that is some news basically of the start of the NBA season that's really been going down. Kevin Durant coming into small ball. People are worried if he's going to be the same. And I think that goes for everybody. I think everybody's worried that another part of his body may go out, because those Achilles injuries are very tricky. And we're glad to have him back. Like Harris LeVert said, basketball wasn't the same. Now, the drug testing and everything, like I said, they're doing that to protect a certain player. I will not mention his name. They said they're gonna do other. They're also gonna focus on other testings like performance enhancing products and drug abuse. So it's like we'll see, man. The NBA is real lenient towards who they want to suspend and who they don't. Porzingis has been injury prone, and that's why I said the Mavericks, I feel they need to find a way to trade him. and see if they could get some pieces or some picks for him because he's gonna always be injury prone. He barely played in New York. He was always hurt. And I like how they did the opening night schedule, KD versus the Warriors. Is the Brooklyn Nets this is the problem with your promotion. It's not about KD versus the Warriors. But you guys are gonna do that because that's what y'all do. Y'all love story. So y'all said instead of the Brooklyn Nets, y'all said Kevin Durant versus Warriors. And then the Lakers versus Clippers. Man, the NBA is full of crap. The LiAngelo Ball thing, he's a bum. He's gonna be out soon, just like his other brothers. Minus LaMelo and Lonzo, they might make it, but we're not sure. Paul George is a ussy. We figured that out. Daniel House basically apologized for trying to get some. And I still don't know the person who he got caught with. They said it was a COVID-19 tester. So I'm like, how is she not authorized to be in the building or even, can you say help LeBrownies? I mean, like I said, man, this season, they're going to come up with everything to help LeBrownies win. When it gets close to like the championship, you're going to see a lot of star players catching the COVID or certain people catching it just to give them a huge lead in the standings so they can cruise the rest of the season. I know what this is going to be. It's the same as the previous seasons. This season to me is going to be, it depends. They're only going to promote one team, which is LeBron and whoever. They're not going to promote anybody else. So basically, to me, the NBA season is going to be a D so far for the start because they really aren't. They're not promoting anybody. They're not promoting the young stars. They're not promoting anything. And the NBA, to me, is going to have a bad season. Their season this year is going to be terrible, especially ratings wise, because they're not going to be talking about anybody. And then when the playoffs start, it's definitely going to go down. So let me know in the comment section what's y'all biggest surprise coming into the season. Mine is to see how well KD does with his new team, how him and Kyrie play, and also, just trying to see some other teams grow. Like see what the Hawks can do, see what Memphis could do after they got their team taken from them almost mid season. Everybody got traded from them. So we got to see how they do, and then we got to see how the Pelicans do. The Pelicans and the Grizzlies, I want to see how they do this year. And Charlotte, I think Charlotte's going to be nice. Daniel Graham is at the point. You got Rozier, you got Ball, you got Hayward there. You're going to see what they're going to do. And let's see how big the Celtics should be fine with Kemba out because you got Tatum, you got Brown, and they managed to make it without when injuries hit them. So thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, share this, hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if you want to donate to the page, you can cash at me at the word welcome, the number 2, and an HDIITV. Thank you for listening. We out. Live boy.